Hello, everybody. Tracy Brown here, and welcome to the Intuitive Eating, Non-Diet Counseling Skills, Business Success self-study you're doing. And I have all kinds of names for it because it's hard to put all in one little snazzy title. I'm not very good at that. I just want people to actually know what the process is and what you're getting. So that's really important to us busy professionals who, you know, want to be wise with our money and our time. And that's what this is all about, is I want to maximize your time and your resources. And I don't know if I've shared the story, and maybe throughout some of the modules, I'll share pieces of it, but and not that I would regret this, but I spent um, 3 years in very, very intensive supervision. And not that it wasn't necessary. It's just that, it was really time intensive and it cost a lot of money. So imagine your hourly fee, my hourly fee, times 3 hours a week, let's say, for about 3 years. Not every single week, but almost every week. You can imagine how much that's like getting a PhD. It's a lot of money. And so my hope here was to provide you with as much depth as I could. And I know that there's a lot of material here in this, in this 12-week course. There's a lot of material here, and I wanted to give as much big picture information in and with as much depth as possible for you to feel like when you get your first clients, or you already have clients, but you're having some difficulties because, let's be honest, we're going to run into clients who really push our edges in terms of tools, or it's going to reveal some of our own unprocessed trauma, or places that we just haven't fully healed yet, just in being a human being. All humans have stuff. Even though we're professionals, we're still human beings first. And so, to be able, I'll just give a good example, and I'm not talking too much about sexuality in these modules, but if you have some stuff about, let's say, sexuality, and you have a client that talks about that a lot, you're going to get really uncomfortable. So it's important that you get supervision around that. And I know in the self-study here, we're not going to be doing a lot of individual supervision around that issue, but I highly recommend that you find a therapist that you trust, that you align with. In the Facebook group here, you can ask questions about that, and I'll give you the best direction I can within my scope of practice. But at least be able to bring to light why it's so important that you heal this issue within yourself. And so again, if you're a coach, you're a dietitian, you're almost a dietitian, we're not taught, even if you've been a coach and they do a lot of emotional work, and you teach people how to problem solve, and that's great. But when it comes to really, really being with somebody's repressed rage, or you get frustrated because they're not really making progress, or maybe they're not doing the assignments you give them, there's this both and of learning how to be with that, but also help contain it, and also being able to help them direct it appropriately, whether taking it to a therapy, if it's something that's out of your scope of practice, whether you're a dietitian or a coach, or it's, help them, be problem solving the tools. They're creating actually some individualistic tools for them and with them, without making the emotions or the behaviors that they're doing bad or wrong. It's just talking about what works for them and what doesn't. So through all the modules, that's the spirit of what we're doing, is we're aligning and being fully attuned with our clients and with ourselves. So that's the definition of embodiment. As you're working with your clients, can you be with what you're experiencing as you're with what they're experiencing, and teaching them how to do that through your ease? That's why non-diet counseling skills are so important. That's why learning to be a good motivational interviewer is important, as well as learning how to be really interpersonal with people as you do it. And so this is the intro. I want you to make sure that you introduce yourself. If you haven't spoken to me already personally, introduce yourself in the Facebook group. Tell us about how you got to Non-Diet, what work you've already done personally, what work you've already done professionally, basically what's your lineage. Um, you know, if I haven't already done that, like I worked with Kara Cortina originally, who worked with um, Carolyn Costin and Anita Johnson, and you know, her initial colleagues were people like Deborah Gard, you know, people she was going to like the Health at Every Size before it was called that, like association meetings, you know, back in the 80s, you know. So I'm trying to think, Francie White is a dietitian and she's amazing with compulsive eating. These are some of the people that, you know, she was initially learning from, plus many others. Like, you know, she helped, you know, start the Renfrew Center here in Florida. And so all the therapists that she worked with there that helped, you know, to help her develop. And so, you know, that's my lineage. And I've also worked with Barbara Bersinger, which you see some of the handouts, you know, in this work. And then I've continued to work on with other, you know, somatic therapists and people who do occupational therapy and people who do touch work. And so I continue to evolve as you will throughout your career. And you'll find even your niche within the niche of like people you're really great with working with. And, you know, you'll discover like, you know, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty good with working with most everybody, but I'm actually really good at working with people who, you know, restrict of all body sizes, honestly. Even though I binge eat, I'm able to help people with that, like that raw terror, honestly, of feeling more in their bodies. And so a lot of people who restrict really struggle with being in and not running versus people who disassociate more. But again, I can work with all those kind of people, but I think we all will at different points in our life have people who are more attracted to us for whatever reason, maybe where we're at in our life. You know, now that I'm a mother, I get people more in their 30s and 40s and 50s than I did when I was in my 20s, and I had a lot more teens and 20 somethings. It's just how it tends to work sometimes. But I still have a variety, and you probably will too, which is great because, you know, you want to have a little variety to not. This is hard work, and if you don't already, and this is some things we'll talk about in all these modules, you might find that it's healthier for you to have a bigger variety of work, not just eating disorder work or non-diet work, but maybe you do some recipe development, maybe you do some personal training, maybe you do some business coaching too, which is why I do this, because, well, really people were asking me for it, but also it's just it's some variety, and it helps me grow as well. So don't be afraid to like do some of the things that help, one, supplement your income, but two, help keep things fresh and you prevent burnout and all those kind of things. So I like, as we wrap up here with this intro, don't be afraid to ask questions on the Facebook group. And you all know that, like, if you need to do individual sessions with me, they're at a discount for the 12 weeks you're in the program. So please take advantage of that. They're $100 versus $150 for one session or $180 for a longer session. So reach out, get the help you need. You know, sometimes we do, you're going to just hear lots of role plays and lots of client situations in this program, but maybe there's something we haven't addressed here. And so call me, bring it up. Let's go there. You could also put in the Facebook group if you don't want to do individual session, and then maybe in future versions of this, I'll add it to it. I probably will, because I want this to be as comprehensive as possible. And if you're like me, customer satisfaction matters. We want our clients, we want people who buy our programs and our things that we create to be satisfied and more than satisfied. So let's bring it to them. I'm going to try to bring it to you. So if you have any questions, concerns, bring it to the Facebook group. If you're in the self-study version, if you're in the live version, bring it up in session. And until then, please enjoy all this. And you're here to make a huge difference. And I'm sure that you already are. And I'm grateful to be a part of your journey doing that. So take care, enjoy, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Bye-bye.